we looked at actually what we were doing in helping all these extraordinary human beings perform to the upper limits, we were just helping them get healthier. Health ignites performance. And health is physical, it's emotional, it's mental, and it's actually spiritual. And we kept pushing the envelope, helping them to see that these are critical foundations for them to go to the outer limits of what they're capable of. Health is something that we kind of take for granted, but we had world-class nutritionists, we had exercise physiologists, massage therapists, we had all kinds of psychologists, we have people specializing in each of these dimensions, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And that's what we did, and that's what ignited their genius. And so it took a long time to get there, but that's what we were doing. We were in the health business, and Johnson & Johnson basically realized we built the data for that, and that's why they were interested in it, because they were in the health business, and that put them in the performance business, helping their surgeons and all of the people that they have, healthcare workers, to perform better in a high-stress environment with the technology that we developed. So, it was a long journey, but it was something that was very satisfying.
That's super interesting, because you have a lot of people that say, well, I have this specific formula that'll make you 10x your productivity, yada, yada, yada. and so I really like how you framed it, is that you just help people get healthy, kind of remove the blocks in their way, which it's one of those things that makes sense and it sounds simple. And I imagine it's quite difficult in practice. Is there any anecdotes you can share from maybe a typical physical block that might be in the way that you could relieve for someone, and then maybe some of that mental, spiritual block?
Well, so often, we have players come in and physically, so we would draw blood the minute they walk in the door. We do a very extensive blood chemistry panel. Then we put them in a bod pod for lean body mass. We collect so much data and try to put it all together. We look at the system as an integrated system, and what you eat affects just about every dimension of who you are. And so let's say we have someone who is really struggling with they just don't have the fitness they want, but they really perform well on all the fitness tests. And then we do further testing and we realize that they're gluten intolerant. And when they changed their diet, all of a sudden that inflammatory response was completely eliminated, and their ability to withstand incredible bouts of exercise or endurance stress was completely changed. So,
wow.
And then the thing that was really interesting is that something that most people have not a real understanding of, I certainly didn't, was the role the spiritual dimension plays. And we found that the single most important stake in the ground for doing extraordinary things and persisting and having, this ability to be really resilient, to come back from traumas and injuries and heartbreaking losses and everything else, was your sense of purpose. Your purpose and your character. And what we found was your moral and ethical character. How you treat other people, your kindness, your integrity, your honesty, your humility, your ability to care for others genuinely. As a psychologist, I never got into that space, but our data led us there. And we began to realize that sustained performance is actually the result of feeling good about yourself, and that's your treatment of others. And that was a big surprise. I call it the hidden scorecard. If you don't feel that, if you only have your last achievement is how you feel about yourself, your self-esteem, you're only as good as your last achievement. And you haven't been treating people well on your chase to the top, there's a hollow space there. You never feel really fulfilled, or you're only as secure as your last big success, extrinsic success. So we started building a platform for helping people become healthier as human beings from kind of a moral perspective or ethical perspective. Treating people the way you want to be treated kind of the golden rule.
Mm-hmm.
We started finding that the more people kind of got into that space, the more secure they felt in themselves, and they didn't live and die by their performances. And they actually were more relaxed. They didn't get these levels of cortisol as high because
Right.
they felt like a good person. And if they lost, they were doing the things that they felt were important. And there was a bigger game, the game of life, that actually mattered more.